Hello and welcome to the new stream from Costume and Play Cosplay Craft Attack, which is the basic show where I make something and you guys get to laugh about it. I'm joined tonight by Ryan Stark, who has made some amazing Halo armor, which is convenient because we're going to be making some Halo armor for the next few weeks. Hello Ryan, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. How are you today?
I am dying because of how difficult making this armor is. It's ridiculous. It's complicated.
With the challenge.
Yes. Thank you for leading me into that. The basic premise of the show is I'm given a task, which is to build a certain piece of cosplay something or other. Not sure what it's going to be yet, but for today specifically, it is the Gauntlets from Halo Combat Evolved. And it's on screen, conveniently enough. The added challenge is that I'm not allowed to use any glue whatsoever. None. Zip. Zilch. I am not allowed to use glue. No contact adhesive, no hot glue, nothing.
We make things a whole lot difficult.
Oh, yeah. Turns it from, a difficult build because it's armor to, hi, my life is over. I don't like it anymore. I don't want to cosplay anymore. I do. I love it. It's great. And hopefully you guys are going to be amused by what's going to happen. Because it's horrendous. But we're going to have the fabulous Ryan here joining us to criticize what I've done, what I haven't done, how I've done it badly, how he would have done it amazingly, considering his Hayabusa armor from Halo 3 does actually use mainly the same materials as me, except he was allowed to use glue.
Yeah, that was probably a big
I'm sure that's the only reason it was better, definitely. So if we can play the first clip, that will be a rough idea of the materials I was going to use and the basic build process. Maybe.
Okay, so this week we're going to be making something a little bit different to last time. We're actually going to be making gauntlets. Specifically the Halo Mark V Mjolnir ones. The ones from the original Halo Combat Evolved that you would see the Master Chief wearing. Once again, there is going to be a challenge element to this though. And unfortunately the challenge for this time is going to be me. Because I couldn't find any glue last week, my challenge is now, don't use glue for any of it. Any of it. So what I have instead is this, which is double-sided tape, which will hopefully work a little bit better than the rolls of gaffer tape I was using last week. In case it doesn't, we also still have gaffer tape. Isn't that useful? Right, so what I'm basically going to do is just make a start on the backs of the hands, and depending on time, I may also make a start on the forearm sections, and I will turn you back over to our guest while I get on with this.
How do I actually bind it together in a secure way? Which usually ended up being somehow trying to layer it all together. Maybe.
Oh, I'm hoping it doesn't come apart.
There was a lot of hope involved, and I'm not even going to pretend that it worked out. No matter how much I wish it had.
At least you're using a sharp knife.
Oh yeah. I went out and specifically bought a new pack of Stanley blades for this.
Yeah, that'll help a lot.
Yeah. I think what I was trying to do was shape the edges over so that it wasn't just flat blocks. But
Yeah,
as you can see, yeah, that's not as easy with a Stanley knife as it would have been with something like a Dremel.
Are you allowed to use a Dremel?
Oh yeah, I'm allowed to use one. Guess what? I don't have one.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that'll be that'll be probably the next thing on the list of stuff to get. Something to shape it a little bit easier. Oh god, this was me trying to actually stick gaffer tape through the inside.
Just trying to hold it together.
Yeah. God, yeah, and shove it. What I was doing there was actually just shoving bits of double-sided tape into the inside, thinking, yeah, that'll hold it to a relatively level edge on the seam. Yeah, no, it didn't. This section was way more trouble than it was worth because it didn't work at all. Oh, God. Watching it back is horrendous. Although at least that one fits reasonably well. Kind of.
It's holding together at the minute.
Yeah. At least I was sensible and thought, yeah, I'll put another layer on the outside. Maybe that'll keep it stuck together. Maybe. And then, because I realised paint and primer probably wouldn't stick very well to double-sided tape. Yeah, I'll just cover it with some thin foam. That'll work fine. Yeah, I'm sure that will.
Tinfoil? Use tinfoil?
Tinfoil? Thin foam.
I thought you said tinfoil.
Tinfoil probably would have worked better. I need a tinfoil hat with this. You're all out to get me. And that was the theory of, well, they slope up at the back, so if I add a bit more foam, it'll make it a bit longer. And I'll just stick some glue in, not some glue, some gaff tape on the inside. Maybe.
Try and hold it together.
Yeah, and then rinse and repeat of sticking the thin foam on the outside with some double-sided tape in a second. Oh, it's so bad.
So once you've made the whole thing, are you going to wear it all? If it's all wearable.
It will all be wearable if I need to. No matter how much I need to do to make it work, it will all be wearable.
Okay, so what we actually have here is one forearm. I've used a bit of thin foam to actually cover it up in there, but for the most part, this is the forearm. Here is the hand. So it will be sat like that on top of a glove, so it looks somewhat like. Maybe eventually when I paint it.
And now this is where I make another perfectly matching one that is exactly the same and is definitely not any different whatsoever.
I'm surprised you didn't just go from the measurements of the other arm.
What measurements?
Well, you could have measured the other one.
Yeah, that's what I should have done. Instead, I didn't. So this is, you know, the other one was bad. This is going to be even worse. It didn't fit together at all. It also kept falling apart. It's not.
Just kind of made this one longer from the start as well without adding a different bit.
Yeah. Like that, I was thinking, yeah, that'll be fine. I'll just do it longer to begin with, and then I won't have to worry about it coming apart. Because I knew that using gaff tape and double-sided tape on like that thin, like that tighter circle of foam, it was going to pull itself apart. Guess what? It wasn't any better. But at least I've got a pen this time and a decent length steel ruler.
So what we have here is actually two forearm sections for the gauntlets. You may notice they look a wee bit different. There's a reason for that. I screwed up, basically. Not a lot I can do about it at this point, but there was a lot of guesswork involved, probably way too much guesswork. But part of the problem with this, I only have a day to do this. That makes it extremely difficult to actually act quickly. And no, it makes it easy to act quickly. That actually makes it very difficult to spend enough time to get it properly right. Which is why these are so different and why the left one doesn't fit as well.
not enough time to fix mistakes.
Yeah, pretty much.
My right hand, so
Roll with
what
it.
can you do?
Yeah, the entirety of this gets built in one day, so there is so little time to actually fix your mistakes, and there were a lot of them. There were so many. But now that we've seen my mistakes, let's move to something good for once. Your background and the way you normally enjoy working on your Halo armor, which I'm not going to be able to say it enough. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's one of the shots of it in...
There we go.
That looks like Manchester, maybe?
Yeah, that was at Manchester MCM.
Yeah, that is... I don't think from that shot you can get an idea of the scale because you are tall as sugar. Because we're not allowed to swear on this stream.
7'2" in the armor.
Yeah, so pretty much canon Spartan height, actually.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. Like, what?
Oh.
There's another one. That was...
That's before I got it signed.
Yeah. I think we'll come back to more explanation about this at the end, but you actually got some drawings and signings on your armor in the wake of the Manchester attacks, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which... It's pretty recognisable, so you can't really say any better than that. But so, how do you normally like to work on your armor? Like, what sort of materials do you like to use? What ways of setting out? What measuring implements?
Well, because I get more time with it, I can use a program called Peppercure, which is like just taking all the measurements in a program and setting it all to my measurements in person, so I can get all the heights right and all the measurements right. See, that was it made out of paper.
Yeah, because that's...
armor.
Yeah,
that
which
was
obviously has
the
even
first
more...
thing that I ever made.
Really? Jesus. I take it with that, it's just going slowly and carefully and cutting the right lengths and scoring it.
Mistake.
Yeah? Or was it too flimsy to actually add to?
It just breaks really easily. Like, It doesn't matter how much... Well, if I fiberglassed it, it probably would have stayed together, but I just had resin and it crumbled. And the first one I did make was way too small.
Oh,
so
okay.
I actually remade the whole thing.
Right.
That's the Hayabusa helmet before I decided to make it out of foam. So I did start making it out of paper, but I was like, I'm going to actually try and make it out of foam.
Yeah. I suppose doing it out of paper to begin with at least lets you check the sizes and the fit quite cheaply, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Because screwing it up with foam.
The first helmet was made out of paper, and I did finish it out of paper, but then it broke literally 2 days before the convention, so I had 24 hours to remake a whole new helmet.
Oh no. I'm pretty sure I'm going to feel that in a couple of weeks.
I did get it done, but I was spray painting it literally like 10 hours before the convention.
Yeah, that's one where you stood in line with your spray cannon.
Oh yeah, outside at my friend's house.
Got a battery and a hairdryer in the line. Oh god.
Sleeping while it dries.
Aye. So the so foam is what you would recommend for making a bit more hard wearing.
Yeah, it definitely lasts longer.
Yeah, I suppose it would also take the paint a lot better and end up looking a lot more like armor.
Yeah, you don't see as many of the creases with the foam. It's like with the paper, you've got to fold each individual crease so you can get the shape.
Yeah, whereas you can sort of bend everything a little bit easier.
Yeah, it just looks a lot smoother.
Yeah. So, since we were talking earlier about Dremels, is that something you tend to use in terms of getting the shaping and the contours on it right?
The Dremels are good for getting the shape and making sure that the lines can match up neatly.
Oh, okay.
And at proper angles. Like if you just get two pieces and stick them together, and then they might not shape properly because of the thickness of the foam.
Whereas if you sort of like miter it almost, it'll clip together a lot more
It'll sit
easily.
better nicely at angles.
Yeah. So I think the next thing we're going to be running on is the priming and preparation video, which definitely doesn't start off with me repairing some of my mistakes at all. No, it definitely doesn't. I'm a liar. So if we want to roll that and enjoy some Schadenfreude.
So, I arrived to start painting and ran into what we're going to call a minor issue. It's these. Do you know how they're flat and they shouldn't be? Yeah.
Oh no.
We're going to call it a minor issue for now. It's not a complete unmitigated mess yet. Hopefully, I'll keep telling myself that. So we're going to repair those, then paint them.
Yeah, so cue me tearing apart all of my work and feeling so good about it.
Attempting to fasten it together again.
Yeah, I realised half the problem was that what I needed to do was wrap the tape the entire way round so it wouldn't actually just tear itself apart.
Yeah. Just too flexible and it wants to pull apart.
Yeah, it's... it would seem that tape doesn't tack too well to foam. Who could have guessed that? So cue me constructing it and then trying to add the foam, like the thin foam, not tin foil. I didn't have any tin foil. Adding the thin foam to the outside and then just trying to cut its size. Oh yeah, this was the left arm where I realised, you know what, I got it wrong enough that I should just add in a section to try and expand it.
At this point, it probably would have been good to put them both on top of each other.
Pretty much, and
You
just
could have
cut
got
them
both
both to shape, yeah. But I didn't think of that, so I just kept rolling on. So they continue to be very differently sized.
Okay, so that's the repairs finished. Again, these are still very different. The knife away because we're sensible people. Considerably bigger than this one, but we will work with that.
Yeah, so this is completely misusing equipment. That's a microphone stand, which is now a much more fun colour. But the basic process was just throw a load of primer on it and hope it works.
Yeah, I don't think you've really got time to seal it.
I probably did, but no, that's not going to work. Yeah, I tried. Because what I probably should have done was used, I don't know, PVA glue or something similar, just
Okay,
to...
so I have got all of the priming done. I was clever and only had one can, so I ran out, which means I can't actually do another layer as I wanted to, but it is now dry, and that means it is ready for the next coat. So now that these are primed in grey, I'm going to cover them over in black. I'm going to do 2, maybe 3 layers, let that dry, and then I'm going to mask up, ready for the green. Hopefully.
So that was a dirty lie. I do not do multiple layers of the black. I didn't have time.
Was it just one layer?
Yeah, it's one very thick, heavy layer of black. Because, in fairness, they were going to get a load of green on afterwards anyway.
Yeah.
But they definitely could have used a lot more layers of primer. And filler. Filler probably would have helped as well. Filler would definitely have helped.
It takes a long time.
What I'm going to do is let all those dry for a minute, and then I'm going to hit them with... Well, I'm going to hit the actual forearm sections with another coat of black, because they're the ones that will actually be black, and then I'm going to mask them.
Oh no, okay, so I apparently did hit him with another layer of black. I forgot about that one. Clearly the mask didn't fit quite well enough, so I was probably high off the fumes from the paint tins. That would explain a lot. Hey, at least I did have a mask. Hey, the microphone stand came in useful, Snowcat. It worked. It did exactly the job it needed to do. Oh, God, that was... Watching it back all at once makes you realise how many mistakes you made. And there were a lot in there. Oh, dear.
We had a time limit to work with.
Yeah, that's going to be the excuse the whole time, isn't it? There was a time limit. You weren't allowed to use glue. You need to find out if the resin for fiberglass would count as glue, because I don't think they're going to last very long, to be honest. It's not like they're stuck together very well.
I don't think resin will class as glue, because it doesn't really stick things together.
We'll see about that one. But now that we've seen a few more of my mistakes, how about we talk about some of yours? Like, for example, what's your worst experience making Halo armor?
I haven't really had a bad experience making the Halo one, but I had a really bad experience making my Daedric armor.
Okay.
Because I basically made the whole thing too small.
Oh no.
So I made the whole thing, I wore it to one convention, and then it was way too small, so I just threw it in the bin.
Fair.
And remade the whole thing.
Oh yeah, at least you got a use out of the effort you put into building it.
Yeah, it didn't look too great though.
Well, you live and you learn. And I'd imagine that helped you make the second version a hell of a lot better than that.
Oh yeah, the second one was way easier after the first time making it.
Yeah.
Right. The problems with the Halo armor was probably fixing it all together, like how to wear it all.
Oh, okay.
There's just like clips everywhere. You could literally like hang the whole thing up on a coat hanger.
So there's lots of oh god, what do they even call it? Like the little belt buckle type almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I suppose if you want quick release and stuff that will hold it together without any weird ties or anything, that's probably the way to do it.
It's quick to release, but it's so awkward getting it on.
I actually got to get everything held in place before you can actually do the clips.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are there any major pitfalls you found with making the gauntlets?
Just getting the shape, really.
Okay.
It goes from really thin at the start to wider at the back. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time it has got the cutouts and vents which allow you to mould out for the larger section of your forearm as well, I guess.
It's really wide.
Yeah.
Really thin there. But like, trying to get it shaped right so it fits on my arm and stays there was really hard. There to like keep cutting it down and sticking it back together.
Getting it so
like, eventually it fit.
Yeah. But I suppose
the shape of it all.
A lot easier to start with it too big and cut it down than start with it too small and have to throw it away and get more.
Yeah, it's easier to take away pieces than add to it.
Yeah, true. So, we've seen some of the mistakes. You've told us some of your mistakes, which sound like they were a lot less disastrous, aside from the Daedric armor. That's like making it too small is irrecoverable if it's that complicated. It's not something you can just enlarge a bit, is it?
Yeah, literally had to remake the whole thing.
Oh dear, can't be doing with that. It's not good.
I had more than a day though to make each piece.
Yeah, true. But if we want to show that final painting section, that would be lovely, and you can just criticise the hell out of it, because it's not good. It's not good at all. So I think there I'm just blasting it with green paint and hoping it stays in place.
Masking time. So what I'm basically going to do is work from the references I've found and just mask up for the green areas.
Yeah, so this is where I spent, I want to say it was knocking towards an hour, just cutting tiny little bits of masking tape and shoving them on and hoping it worked. And occasionally glancing over in the direction of my reference pictures.
I don't think I've ever actually used masking tape. I just kind of put a base coat down and then use a paintbrush.
Right. Yeah, I suppose whichever works.
Like spray paint can get just messy if you're trying to do small parts, I guess.
Yeah. You'll notice that in a few minutes. Yeah. Looking at this, the basic process was cry a lot, and then cover up the weird bit that sticks out of the back of the arm. Don't even know what you'd call it, but cover that over since in the games it's black. Wander away from the camera for a while. Yeah. Try and find out the sections and the lines and work from them, but
I guess you're trying to keep them both even as well.
yeah,
Look the same.
yeah. So I did the entirety of one first, and then I'll be copying it in a second for the other one. It would have been nice if I'd done that from the start, in terms of building them.
Yeah.
So clearly I learned over the time of making it. Oh yeah, that was where I got halfway, stripped it off, and then went, nah, we'll have to redo that.
At least when you're doing the different parts now, you'll find it easier to just like template one and then draw around the other one.
Yeah, pretty much. It'll be a case of maybe not even build one and then work to it, or just decide the sizes and then take a net off it essentially before sticking it all together.
Yeah.
And they might end up something like a similar size. Maybe.
You could try making the first part out of paper so it'll wrap around your arm easier.
Yeah, true. And I'd allowed to run it a lot quicker doing that as well.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I did when I was making my gravity hammer. I made paper bits first,
Oh, okay.
and then when I got the paper
so
bit
now
right,
that I'm back with my
use the
amazingly
bulb.
fashionable headgear, I'm going to hit this with some green paint.
Yeah, so this is where it all comes together, and you can see where the masking hopefully worked. And where I put way too much paint on in a single layer. Yeah, so your hammer,
Right then, so it is time to take off the masking tape, and hopefully it's all going to go well. Hoping.
oh no, it's pulling the black paint off.
Yeah, this is the major technical difficulty of, guess what I didn't do? I didn't wait for it to dry properly before I started masking it up.
It's kind of hard to tell when it's dried on the foam anyway because it'll seep in.
So we now have
Yeah.
2 finished arm pieces for the gauntlets. I'm going to be honest now, I'm not a huge fan of them. especially since this one's weighted tight, and this one's extremely loose. But
they don't look too bad.
Oh no, they could have gone so much worse.
It could have been worse.
At least they've got some shape to them, and they're not just round.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, the final version isn't amazing.
Sit just on the back of my hands.
How do you plan on getting them on your hands?
Like that.
By having gloves. I don't know if it's appeared yet. I'm just going to continue fondling the air.
There we go.
There we go, yeah. So the final end up was not great, but actually better than I was expecting.
In one day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it looks something like. Kinda, maybe. I can keep telling myself that all I want. But yeah, actually getting them attached to your hands was just a case of some cheap gloves and a bit of double-sided tape again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was the reference picture I used for most of my working out of where the shapes were. So you can probably see that I screwed it up a little bit.
I can tell where you've got the shape for the hand bits from.
Yeah, it should have curved a different angle, and there should actually be green paint up the top there the whole way round, and which way even is up this?
Add a few little touch-ups to it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I could claim if I wanted the where the paint stripped off is battle damage or something, but
You got hit by a bullet.
yeah, got hit by a very specifically positioned bullet. A bullet that only took off the paint and nothing else. So what are your overall thoughts on the state of this? Yeah,
well,
that's
obviously it could have gone better with glue, but
yeah, that's half the fun of the challenge. Is how much is he going to struggle by not being able to use the appropriate tooling?
I think we saw how much of a struggle it was.
Yeah.
Like, we could have got them both the same size by putting them on top of each other and cutting them to the shape when they did unfold. But
I am essentially taking a net off one onto the other that then turns into the actual thing.
And they would have been too loose and too tight.
At the very least, they would have looked similar, rather than that being stuck to my arm on every level and that being... Oof.
One looks like a nice snug fit.
A little bit too snug. There's also this that's a problem of how close can I get this to the camera? Can I get it to focus?
Is that what the joint?
Yeah, I was not very clever and got the joint on the wrong side, and it started tearing away a little bit. Yeah. So the results weren't amazing, but they were.
To be done in one day, though.
It's debatable on whether or not they're done.
Well, they'll have to be, you're out of time.
Yeah, what we've got to do now. Snoke has just said no capes. No capes. No glue. But yeah, so working without glue is a struggle. Doing the whole thing in a day, struggle. Working with my level of competence, a struggle.
I think you did pretty well with the tools that you had and could use.
Yeah. So if you were going to give it a score out of 10 for those, leaving aside whether or not there was a challenge involved, what would your score out of 10 be, do you reckon?
Well, without there being a challenge involved, so if that was just you making them normal,
Yeah.
probably about a 3.
Okay, so that's better than I expected, and with the challenge. Let's give me a bit of an ego boost here.
We'll put it up a bit. We'll push it to a 7.
Oh my, a 7? I'm amazed. I feel as though I don't deserve that. But speaking of things that are deserved, in my opinion at least, she deserves some pretty big props for for putting forward your Halo armor for signings after the attacks in Manchester. Would you be able to tell us a bit about what your thought process behind that was?
Well, I just decided, like, because I'm from Manchester, and I was like, I've seen everyone doing everything that they could to support it. I just thought, well, I'm going to paint the Manchester B on it, add some few logos, and ask everyone to sign it. So it's like all stand together, and because it's armor, it just like kind of shows like a defense type thing that we could all like just get through it together.
Shows that sort of resilience a lot of people who know the area around Manchester will know of.
Yeah.
As it says, we do things differently here.
It got a lot of support from the convention, and people were coming up to me like, they like what I'm doing, and they came over and asked if they could sign it. I was like, yeah, please do. So we got a lot of signatures. It was really nice.
Yeah.
It was a nice feeling to like put it out there and get everyone involved.
Yeah, because I believe you have it to hand if you want to. And if Snow would like to throw our cameras up.
I don't know. Wait, that's just like.
Yeah.
Like, there's just signatures all around it. Can't really bring them to the camera.
But it does also remind us how bloody tall you are and how big the armor must be.
Yeah.
I don't know if we managed.
The bees still buzz, and
Aye.
oh, someone signed it as like "We Are Groot." Loads of love hearts everywhere.
Aye.
Like the guy that sang the Pokemon theme tune signed my Gauntlet. Like
What?
Jason Page.
Oh, that's amazing.
We actually sang on stage together, and I was wearing my armor whilst I was singing with him.
Oh, God. Conventions, eh? The singing Spartan. And just having
the
that.
Pokemon theme tune.
Aye, and just having that on camera just reminds me how much better that is. Jeez.
I had more time to get the shape right.
Yeah, but excuses. There's only so many times I can say it. So, I think that's reasonably us. So, I'd like to say thank you to you for joining us and showing us your amazing armor, because that is 10 out of 10.
Thanks.
Especially, I don't think I've ever actually seen another Hayabusa helmet around.
I don't think I've seen them on the internet, but I haven't seen one at a convention.
No, I've not seen another one at a convention.
It's not really the easiest one to make.
No, far from it. It's just that shape is amazing. And why did Bungie decide to make that a thing?
I think they wanted to go for the ninja style, didn't it? Because it's got a samurai back and all that.
Oh yeah, because it was one of the really hard to get armors, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like an end game thing where you've got all the skulls at the end.
Yeah, something like that. God, it's been a long time since I played Halo 3.
One of the best.
Yeah. So, what I'm going to do is play you a quick time-lapse video of the entire build, which we will still chime in a little bit on and point out things that have gone wrong. And things that have gone wrong. And other things that have gone wrong, because there's plenty of them. So, if we'd like to play that time-lapse from start to finish, that'd be lovely. Cue me attempting to set all this up and it being terrible. Yep. Show the tape to the camera.
Still yet to find the proper cutting mat. I did have one at some point, but I don't know where it's gone.
They appear and disappear, I think. 'Cause I'm sure that's not my original cutting mat.
I don't know. That's exactly the same foam I used, the 4 tiles.
Yeah, I think they were just cheapo foam tiles off Amazon or something.
Yeah, I got all mine off eBay.
Yeah. And what I should have done while it was...
foam now from Polycraft though?
Yeah, funnily enough, I've got a load of foam on order because it's so cheap by comparison.
It's smooth on both sides as well.
I know. I was really confused when I found that out. I was like, are they... Is this real? Is this the real life?
We had the pleasure of meeting the guys at a convention that we'd been to at the weekend.
Oh, okay.
So we got to see all the foam that they had and have a look at it all.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll arrive sometime this week, in time for me to build the next part.
Which part are you making next?
Well, given that I started with the hands, I think it only makes sense to do the shoulder pads next, which are going to be... I'm pretty sure they're going to be difficult, especially working out a way to attach them.
Yeah. You don't need to attach the shoulder bits to the gauntlets.
Oh no, but
Yeah.
finding some way to keep them attached to my body is going to be a difficult thing.
Mine all attached to my chest piece, like from the shoulders.
Yeah.
Can always give you some tips before you start.
Yeah. I should have done a lot more pre-planning on the whole lot of it. But, evidently I did not.
You're just taking your time and the masking tape looks neat. It's all very neatly placed.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know from experience of masking things up before that were not cosplay related. If you do that badly, the whole thing will be shit.
Yeah.
It won't work.
They're like cars.
So long. Yeah. You may have noticed earlier, there was a car in the background.
Yeah, I saw it. Jacked up.
It's using lots of little pieces and taking ages to do it all, so that hopefully it comes out about right. And listen to that horrendously badly looped music, it's terrible. Like, the editor should just be taken away. Oh yeah, and cue me trying to clear the fumes a little bit. Always work in safely ventilated areas, kids. Although that is the most satisfying bit of the entire build, is tearing all the masking tape off.
Yeah, and then taking the paint with it.
That was the bit that kind of ruined it for me, I'll be honest. But, I mean, it worked, I guess, in the end, all told. There was something there. I'm not quite sure what as of yet. But, so, I think we're going to call that done. We've shown you everything that I've had. We've had the lovely Ryan Stark here to talk to you, to talk to me, to tell me how bad I am at all of this, and explain how I could be better, very importantly. And the first answer is, don't let your boss decide not to let you use glue for building a cosplay. That's lesson 1. So next time we're going to be building the shoulder pads or pauldrons, or there's a word involved there that I'm not entirely sure what it is, but we're going to be joined by Queen's 23rd Royal ODST, who is an ODST cosplayer who builds ODST armor from the various Halo games. Looking at it, I would guess that's most heavily based on Halo 3 ODST, funnily enough. So that'll be next Monday at 8 PM, and it'll be the second part. So that's from me, but from Xan Thunder Cosplay on Friday at 8 PM, he's going to be chatting with Amin the Outcast, who is coming all the way over from America via the internet. Definitely not physically, I don't think. Maybe not physically. But she's going to be joining Luke at 8 PM next Friday, once again here at twitch.tv/costumeandplay. So thank you, everyone who joined in. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you to Snow, our wonderful tech. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.